In today's video, you'll learn about the current impacts of global activism, how to get started, if you already have a program, how to scale, what are some challenges, and what the future holds. Let's make a social impact. Hi everyone, I'm Carl. Welcome to the Social Impact Show, where CSR professionals get the latest strategies and tips to help them scale and grow their CSR and goodness programs. So I've got a very special guest today. Her name is Jo Jeffries. She is the Principal Social Value Consultant at Jacobs and outgoing program manager of their global giving and volunteering program, which they call Collectively. Thank you very much for joining us, Jo.
Thanks so much for having me, Carl.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about global activism. So let's start from the very beginning. What is your definition of global activism?
Love it, Carl. So rather than a pure definition, let's maybe consider it from two different sides. So one side, I think, imagine a world where employees in all corners of your organization, all corners of the globe, all corners of the country, whatever your footprint is as an organization, they are all working to do good in their local communities. So they're spread all over the place. And then the other side is taking all these employees and rather than just focusing on what they are doing locally, thinking, how can we do this, make an impact globally? So I kind of mean, rather than just focusing on one city, one office, one country, how can you still do all of that, but also do it in multiple global places at the same time? And then imagine the beauty and the magic if both of those things happened at the same time. So people everywhere thinking globally. And then also, if you were pushing me for a definition, I would say something like global activism is where employees drive employee engagement. That doesn't just happen, it's the actual employees driving it themselves.
So isn't that a little bit difficult though, when you're trying to focus on local, but also keeping your eye on global?
Yeah. And I think the tricks that people need to be thinking about is what is applicable to replicate directly, what needs to be maybe caveated, maybe language needs to be tweaked, time zones changed, obviously, little details that could be easily swapped out for other people. So it's using all the effort that one person would do in their office, in their city, but then helping using those same resources, training and upskilling other people so that they can replicate it in the same way without having to work from the beginning, without having to go back to basics. They've already got kind of like a level up and got all the templates and aims and vision in place already.
So is that what global activism looks like today? Maybe you can give some examples of that.
Yeah, okay. So for us, some examples, global activism. So where we're seeing employees doing something locally, but thinking, how can they make it global? So one example that I can think of is relatively new in the last couple of years since we launched, actually. We launched our program a couple of years ago. So one particular employee, or indeed a few groups of people, wanted to replicate Macmillan's Cancer Care World's Biggest Coffee Break. So a framework is already in place, but they're starting from scratch, launching it internally in the company. So year one, starting from scratch. So they started getting kind of the templates and comms in place, put feelers out to getting reps, ambassadors, champions, volunteers to put their hands up to do things. And year one, it went reasonably well, but it needed to take another shot at it to then give it more momentum. The call went out for global volunteers to also take this. So they'd already come up with a blueprint or template, shall we say, and then they could build on that the next year. So again, kind of going back to using the templates, using the basics to then help and upskill people to then replicate it easier the next time. So that's maybe one example. For us at Jacobs, one of our biggest employee giving campaigns is our annual giving campaign for Water for People. So really large organization. We've been a partner with them since the beginning, actually, about 30 years ago. It's well established. It's got a lot of oomph behind it. Our execs are behind it. But every year we go back to basics and we have to go around the business and ask for office coordinators to put their hand up. And then it's over to them to be creative. Maybe there's already a steering committee in place to try and weave them and tailor them into the right direction so they don't go too off course. But we want them to be creative, use what's already in place, what's already been built up, what we know works, and then taking the best bits, redoing them, and then bringing in something new and different, creative and innovative, shall we say. So that's a couple of examples. I've got more, but maybe I'll stop there.
And remember, if you're getting value from this video, we'd really appreciate you hitting that like button. And if you want to learn more and connect with other social impact professionals, then you've got to join us at Goodness Matters from June 1st to 3rd, online or in person in San Diego, California. Get everything you need to elevate, celebrate, and fuel your CSR programs. For more information, check out benevity.com/goodnessmatters and use the promo code IMPACTGM22 to get 10% off your pass. See you there. No, those were great. And, it kind of leads me to the next point of, you were able to leverage missions, giving, volunteering, global, and so on. So like, what challenges were you solving for and how did you do it all?
So the challenges that we were solving for, going back maybe 3-4 years, maybe, Jacobs realized that we needed to up our game with our sustainability program, agenda, culture, initiatives, and recognizing and respecting all the 3 different pillars of sustainability: social, economic, and environmental. The social piece, there were big gaps there for us. So we branded that under a focus area called Thriving Communities. So that's the challenge, in that there wasn't anything in place for us. We knew that there were pockets of great stuff happening, sporadic activity, if you will, but nothing where we could really wrap our arms around it, report it, get everybody shooting in the same direction in the correct strategic way that we wanted people to and knew we could make the most impact. So that was the challenge. So it was a big gap. And then beyond that, I think we just spotted the opportunities, multiple opportunities that Benevity's products and functionalities could lend to driving progress in that space that we knew there was already a huge gap, whilst also chiming really nicely to driving and sustaining employee engagement across whatever remit that is. So that was the challenge that we were solving it for. How did we do it? It's a very good question, because I don't really know how we did it. We just did it. We just went all in, and why not? We just went for it. If you're launching something new, everything's going to be new. So I think our approach was, let's just do everything new at the same time. Albeit it wasn't everything, and things have developed and changed, and we've added on things and enhanced things. So yeah, that's kind of how we did it. And I think we've now realized that it was a brilliant approach to go all in, because we probably captured different types of people at the beginning who have different passions and different interests. So the really generous givers, they could go straight in and claim matching. The really passionate volunteers, they knew how to create volunteer opportunities, how to garner more volunteers, how to track their time. And then using missions, the people who just wanted to, wanted to make positive impact, there was something for them. So there was always something new for people at the beginning and all the way through. And we kind of saw those like 3 different areas: participation spikes and rates differing at different times. And maybe that was because people had so many different things to check out and get their teeth stuck into.
I've interviewed other guests, and when we talk about, social impact strategy, it's always about, trying to get buy-in and whatnot. Is that something that you also faced at Jacobs, trying to get buy-in or creating a strategy that everyone would accept, or was it more of a easier path?
Yeah, interesting. So it sounds like buy-in, that could be multiple stakeholders. Yeah. So execs, employees, the external community partners that they're wanting to bring along in this journey with us. So yeah, with our execs, I think once you have exec buy-in for your high-level CSR, corporate sustainability, philanthropic sustainability, community giving goals, whatever an organization calls it, once you have exec buy-in, I think you then just need to communicate really clearly and often, and make it crystal clear that if you want to achieve those CSR dreams and goals, then you need to have a roadmap in place. And that roadmap for us was our Collectively Ambassador Network, was our global activism, was our employee engagement part. Because I think every exec knows that with every strategy, you need to have an execution plan or a roadmap behind it to then deliver it. So I think once you communicate that message, you're on for a win. Then it is kind of making people aware what is going to be required to make that happen, what is required to make the global activism and employee engagement truly happen. And then with the execs, it's sustaining them along the way as well, both at the beginning when you launch. So for us, we ran a naming competition to name our program at the beginning, and we had our execs face a video. So they introduce the video and introduce the competition to name the program. So you can give them FaceTime and make sure that you're setting program goals that they believe and have helped craft and can help contribute to. And in governance as well, create a steering committee, an oversight committee, whatever you want to call it, and get them involved at the beginning. Set the schedule, set the goals and targets. And that's your ongoing driving momentum. And I also think that executives, they want to be purpose-driven too. They want to remain relevant for all their audiences. They want to stay current. They want to stay relatable and local. So helping them understand that through your organization's giving and volunteering program, they can do that too. They can make it personable to them, and then they can help with their employees' own purpose-driven and all their giving opportunities and volunteer opportunities as well.
So you must have had a lot of lessons that you've learned as being that program manager for Jacobs. So what advice would you give to companies just starting out, or even companies who have just started in global activism but want to scale their programs? So
starting out, or maybe starting out not just from the beginning, but maybe from small pockets of activity that you know that things are happening, but you're not really sure where. I think the first way to build the case for action is going back to the exec buy-in, making everybody understand that if you want to achieve these goals, creating an employee engagement, ambassador-led volunteer network is the way to go. That is you laying the foundations for success. So once you've built the case for it, then where next? I think one of the key things, and I'll probably go back to this later as well, is making sure that people know that it's going to need time and effort. Like all brilliant things in the world, it requires time and effort. Things do not just happen overnight. And then they also need tender care, attention, support every single day as you continue on your journey, because it's so easy for people and things just to stop. So yeah, you need to have someone driving, keeping everybody together, making people want to be a part of it, and make it fun. It has to be fun. Other things that we found were really successful was we were pretty proud of the way that we started to build our volunteer network, which we call the Collectively Ambassador Network, is we started putting adverts out for these volunteer positions before we launched our program. And maybe that isn't possible for people listening to this, they're already well underway. So at whatever time, make a splash when you launch something and when these adverts are out. Make them feel like being in this position is core to your program's success, and that they will be valued at the beginning and then all the way through. And another way to show that they're valued is, as I mentioned before, just providing the support, the comms templates, the open forum, responding quickly to questions so that they know that, oh, this person got back to me really quickly. This must be quite important. Oh, right, I better get on this as well. It's not just words from the company, you know. And then rewarding and recognizing people in whatever way that an organization can, if it just be simple thanks or little recognitions of, oh, this is the office with the highest participation increase in the last month, that kind of thing. That always goes a long way as well. And then to your other part of the question, Carl, about scaling it. So some thoughts on that if you're trying to do another resplash. Think how to do something fun, new, innovative, creative, make a splash, make it exciting so that people want to get involved. Prizes, competitions, that kind of thing. Get the execs back involved, reintroduce them so that your people can see, oh, this is actually very important for my company. Thank and reward people again, create little leadership positions within the network, maybe. For us at Jacobs and our Collectively Ambassador Network, we have country ambassadors who kind of like help and work with our office ambassadors. We have office, country, and then we have regional ambassadors. So it's little kind of local pockets of teams that can all lean on each other. That could be a great way. If only would be to do something in person, to bring everybody together, because we're all in desperate need of meeting in person.
You raised a good point at the very beginning about things requiring time and effort to do things well. Now, I've heard a lot of the challenges that other social impact CSR professionals are always coming up with is, how do you create a program like a long-term vision program, but also ensuring that I guess your executives or your leadership team sees some sort of ROI or return on investment or something where they can, maybe it could be tangible. How did you address that at Jacobs, or maybe you didn't need to address that?
I think we're still finding ways, and we're finding our execs coming to us as well and asking questions. So most recently, a couple of weeks ago, our chief people officer asked the question, can all this data from our giving and volunteering program help us find patterns to understand what groups in terms of years of service, so like 0 to 3 years, 3 to 6 years, 6+ years, are we seeing pockets of different participation spikes there? So then that can help inform other employee engagement teams, other people, HR teams, to then use that data to inform whatever they want to do. So that's maybe an ROI there. And for us, I think understanding the power of data itself has been incredible, because you can do so much with data. You can put it on a map and show these are the geographies where our employees are giving to the most, or where our employees, what locations are giving to the most. So then that could maybe determine what geographies or what part of an organization are really active, do feel like they're engaging, do feel proud of the company that they work for. And then quantitative data, so how much dollars, pounds, euros, whatever it is you're donating to particular charities or particular charity categories, like sub-causes and themes of different types of work. That could be very powerful. And then the same with volunteer hours as well, a number of people engaging as well. So yeah, I think data for us is key as we understand more about the ROI of giving and volunteering programs.
So Joe, what do you see as the greatest challenge in this space today? And what are your thoughts on overcoming it?
The greatest challenge of building and enduring global activism is tackling employee burnout. So everything that we've spoken about in the global activism and employee engagement realm is all about tapping into volunteers' goodwill. So these are the type of people that aren't going off to the pub and going off and seeing their friends and doing whatever hobbies that they want. They're in this world, they are staying at their computer earlier, later, over lunch. And I'm sure lots of people can relate to the fact that unfortunately, you end up going back to the same types of people because they are the do-gooders, as I quite often say. They are the go-getters. And so we use them a lot. And the challenge and the risk is that we lean on them too much and these employees burn out. Because we don't want that to happen. The good reasons for driving global activism and the opportunities is so that our people are getting these cool leadership opportunities and getting to do things outside of their usual day jobs and doing goodness and creating, inevitably feeling more loyal to that organization. So we want all that to happen, but we don't want all that to happen and burn them out at the same time. So I think for us at Jacobs, this is the biggest challenge, is to continue to sustain a volunteer network without burning them out. Some ways to stop that, maybe some ideas of like rotation programs. Can you drop people in and out, give them a bit of a break, a bit of a breather? Can you, as I mentioned before, bring them all together in an in-person event and give them a bit of rejuvenation and remembering why they're part of something? Supporting them in ways that everybody would love to do, covering some of the volunteer time, seeding them, giving them volunteer rewards for all their hard work. So yeah, I think it gets back to some of the bases of rewarding, recognizing, supporting, and thanking these people. So that's the biggest challenge, employee burnout.
So Joe, you're going to speak about this topic, global activism, at Goodness Matters. So we'd love to hear, what are you looking most forward to, or what are you looking forward to at the conference?
I am most looking forward to that in-person magic that we're all dying to feel again, for sure. So to be reunited with our people, our tribe, our crew, the people that understand the work that we're all doing. That's what I'm most looking forward to. And then with that, getting all the inspiration, motivation, ideas to then take onwards when we go back to our day jobs. I'm not looking forward to trying to take everything that I've learned and then trying to replicate the experience back in your company, because that doesn't work. It is impossible to recreate the magic that happens at Goodness Matters. But what you can do, and what I will be trying to do, is cherry pick the best bits that I know are going to resonate with our people, with our execs, the general people and community organizations. Cherry pick the best bits and then make it work and communicate it in a way that I think your organization is going to resonate with. So yeah, I'm looking forward to in-person magic.
And if you want to join Joe, I, and other social impact professionals at Goodness Matters, come on down. It's June 1st to 3rd in San Diego. Or if you can't make it, it's also online. For more information, visit benevity.com/goodnessmatters. And if you put in the promo code ImpactGM22, you actually get a 10% discount off your registration. So, Joe, I know we could talk about this for a long time, but if our audience wanted to reach out to you, connect, where's the best place to do that?
LinkedIn, for sure. Just find me on LinkedIn, Joe Jeffries. I'm delighted to chat. Just ping me a message and I look forward to hearing from you.
Learn how to further scale your social impact programs by watching these playlists here. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in our next episode.